Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about Zilliqa. So sit back, relax, and before we fully jump on into this video, I do just want to ask guys, could please leave a like on this video. It does help the channel grow immensely, and of course I always do greatly appreciate it. Also, I do apologize ahead of time if I do sound a little bit weird. I am under the weather and have like a sore throat going on, so I do apologize for that. But for the most part, today we are going to be addressing some price actions, some updates and things like that happening within, of course, the Zilliqa ecosystem. So first off, let's talk about price. So we are having a little bit of, a correction, a pullback, if you will. A little bit of a sell the news happened. So, ultimately speaking, we did hit this high of about 23 cents roughly, right? As you guys do see. And now we are pretty much in this nice little downward trend. Now, overall, individuals were kind of concerned with the idea on how they did announce the metaverse, or Metapolis, if you will, sorry, their metaverse project. The way that they did announce it was a little bit weird, but we're going to be addressing that. We're going to be talking about that. But first, I do want to talk to you guys a little bit about the warning that I did call ahead of time. So the other day, it was on April 1st, so we were pumped. I said Zill is finding resistance at around the 786 fib level, the 21 cents, almost 21 and a half cents zone. A day before the announcement of the Metapolis, this could lead to a sell the news reaction. Strong break above this level to retest all-time high is welcoming. Either way, $1 Zill end of cycle. Now, I did say that we were hitting that nice resistance point. We are currently trading at about like 20 cents at this point in time. I knew that a pullback was going to happen simply because of that resistance point that it did hit. You guys can really kind of see where that resistance was. It was actually, the major candle wicks were actually in between the 618 and the 702. It was around this point here at the top of the candles, not the wicks. It was at around like almost 18.5 cents. And now we're coming down. It looks like we will be testing that 12-cent zone. So, if you want to be a buyer for Zill, look at the 382 to possibly the 236 level between 8.5 almost cents and 12 cents. That is a perfect, area to really kind of get into this. That is also the last area of support that we have, this, almost 10-cent zone. So, watch this area to be retested. If we do bounce off of the 10-day EMA, that will be something to watch for as well. You guys do see the cascading factors of not only, volume, but look at the, I would say this, right? Where the RSI was a big factor in order to, really kind of short this because, again, RSI was in a very oversold or overbought level. Now, this actually isn't even in, a nice little area to say, hey, this is done, you guys could buy in yet. It's not. I would say that we are either going to come down and test the support going back as far as like April, the April timeframe before the all-time high, which again is roughly around the 12-cent zone to, around like almost 13 cents. But I'm really, dead set on watching it come down to the prior support levels before we did, break out. So definitely watch either, the top fib here at around 12 cents to be tested, or between, like almost 8.5 to around 12 cents to be fully tested. That's what I'm watching for closely as we do kind of range on here. Now, I will say this, the Zill Bitcoin price chart is also printing a pretty significant, I would say chart as well. It looks like we are going to be coming down and testing this 382 level if we don't have that significant bounce off, of course, the 10-day EMA. The next major support zone from here is actually a lot lower. It is at around like the 210 sat level above the 236. So definitely watch that closely. In terms of the dollar range and why I'm talking about the dollar range long term, aka end of cycle, is because of the, let's just address this real quick. So right now, with our current structure in, Q on the chart, and we look at the topping points for the fib levels, the 4236 and the 4618 is between that $1 and almost $1.10 range. That is a significant area that I'm watching for closely, especially as, a lot of altcoins are starting to break out strongly as well, because that area is significant in terms of a fib level to really target a lot on, many altcoins, specifically even Bitcoin as well. So I'm watching those areas to be tested closely for a lot of altcoins. Altcoins are going to go absolutely parabolic this year, especially if we are talking about alt season being very, very close. but also this is a pattern from Zill in the past. Now, the only real price action that I can go off of is this price action back here from May on this chart. But I actually do have this chart over here, which is the USDT chart. Now, yes, I'm not going off of these top wicks because this is like when the token did first get, released. But we can go off of some of these wicks down here where we do see a little bit more price data being, involved here. This is where we will see outreaches to the 4236 and 4618. This is the prior all-time high from 2018 and 2017's bull run. Yes, Zill launched last. It was like one of the last ones to really go because it was a very new token at that time. Again, I can't really go off of these wicks back here if I, were to. Obviously, that 42618 and stuff like that are going to be much higher, as you guys do see on the chart. I don't know if this would be. So, I mean, if we go off of this wick here, it will be about like the 3618. But ultimately, there's just not enough price data to really go off of, that pattern on this chart. On the USDT chart, we do have a little bit more price data where we did kind of settle down on the bottom and where we did kind of touch base on in terms of the topping range here, which, it's basically like around the tops of these candles instead of their wicks. But you guys could clearly see that we are going to most likely target that area on the USD chart as well. Of course, would I just wait for these levels specifically to sell? Absolutely not. If you are in significant profit, like at the 40, the 60, 80 cent region area, that's where I would be looking to take profit. I mean, especially if you got in at the bottom down here at like around like 3 to 4 cents, like this is a 10x, all right? This is a 20x. After like, 10 to 20x, like, I would definitely be taking some profit. I wouldn't be, just waiting for the dollar range. But again, that's what I would do. But I definitely do think that we are going to be seeing a dollar plus Zill by the end of this, cycle. So, definitely pay attention to that. Also, we do see Metapolis by Zilliqa can push Zilliqa's price up to $1.56. I want you guys to understand that with a lot of these hype up, I would say these hyped, articles, just be aware that like $1.56 is possible. So is like a $2 range for Zill, but I'm just not seeing it happening this year just yet. Of course, could this happen? 100%. But the April 2, like the April 2nd launch of the Metapolis was a thing that everybody was really kind of looking forward to seeing. A lot of people said that it was a disappointment. I mean, I didn't really see it as that. But that's just my opinion, at least, on it. But we do see here, just heard the rumors, investor attendees, Metapolis, Meta as a service, basically event, Citibank, Metadome, and MetaQuest VR, MetaQuest Gaming, joint venture German bank, Microsoft, Intel, NFT, Aquan Capital, and Zilliqa Capital. Now, again, a lot of these are just like rumors. Like I wouldn't really pay attention too much. I will say this in terms of the competition, as they are mentioned in here, like Decentraland and stuff like that. Like a lot of these metaverse tokens and metaverse projects suffer greatly from just terrible graphics. That's why I did say like pay attention to Zilliqa's Metapolis because the graphics were great. It looked insanely great compared to most. Of course, do I think that the price of Zill is going to increase greatly? I mean, they are saying Zilliqa's average price for 2023 is estimated to be at least $1.56. I'm saying, again, I'm looking forward to seeing $1 for Zill. That's my end goal target here. I think that that's going to be a fairly significant area, and I also think that it is a very logical and conservative range, especially going off of the 4236 and the 4618 fib level. I think that that is something that is welcoming. Again, we are on the weekly here. Weekly is in an oversold area. Weekly still looks pretty good in terms of a pullback. It's still green. We still see a lot of volume here on the weekly, but a pullback here. I would say like a pullback between this, like it's almost like 10.5 cents, like roughly, like just to kind of test that area between the 236 and the 382 is welcoming, and it is healthy, price action as well. But we also seen a lot more news. This happened on March 30th. Metapolis Zilliqa surges 80% over 24 hours, outpacing Solana's OpenSea integration. Again, a lot of this stuff, a lot of these articles are very good, especially for demand and stuff like that, but for the most part, I will say this when we are talking about the Metapolis. Again, we were kind of waiting forward to seeing a lot of news within that. We didn't really get too much. I would say there wasn't really a lot of, I would say announcements or anything like that from their side. Like, this is what we got, like this like nice video, the next internet, the start of a new revolution. I mean, the graphics look great, like everything looks great. I just didn't hear good things about this overall event. A lot of people were saying, like, where's the announcements? Are there new partnerships? Are you working with Meta and things like that? Like, there was a few things that were concerning. Of course, I'm going to give them time and await some things, because this is still, it's only April 3rd. This got launched on April 2nd, so I'm waiting forward to seeing this. If you guys do want more updates like this, you guys can go check out Metapolis on Twitter. This is their official account. But overall, I mean, like, it seemed like a cool event, but it just, I would assume that for most people, it looked like a little bit of a disappointment. We did see some new listings and stuff like that from this event and from the news. Like, for example, BitGet actually, listed Zill. This is actually a pretty big exchange, 321,000 followers. Also, in terms of the exchange listings, like the exchange stats here, so BitGet is actually a pretty significant one at around 73, but that's not really, the holding is not what I'm really kind of focused on. It's the weekly visits and volume, so $176.5 million in volume and 1 million weekly visits. So this is an exchange that does get a lot of traction. But I'm also excited for other, Zilliqa projects. Like, the Metapolis is something that is pretty significant. It does provide a lot of, demand. But ultimately speaking, like, Citibank is saying that the metaverse is potentially an $8 trillion to $13 trillion opportunity, and they're saying this by 2030 that the user base could be up to 5 billion. So that's something pretty significant. But also, there's other metaverse, projects that are built on Zill, which is Demons, right? The Demonverse is here. Today we officially announced our journey towards Demonverse. For the, past 5 months, we've been working with the Metapolis to bring one of its kind gaming experiences to your metaverse expedition. We'll keep you posted on the progress. So definitely pay attention to some of these other projects as well. They are doing some pretty, interesting things. I'm very excited for this as well, and I think that this does provide a lot of value to the token as well. And the ecosystem is continuing to grow in demand, so very excited to see that. Zill, like I said, as a token, just await to see that pullback range, so about like 12 cents, possibly even like, we might even settle on about 14 cents realistically speaking, but I'm definitely looking to see this demand range down here being tested. I mean, you guys can see the demand here. If we did bounce off of that, that would be something significant, but I do believe that we test the all-time high very soon. And ultimately speaking, by the end of the year or by the end of the cycle, whichever one comes first, we will be watching for that dollar range to be tested. Of course, with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. If you guys do want more content like exit plans, trading indicators, stuff like that, go check out NCashOfficial.com. But with that being said, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.